here it is, finally all put together. Hasn't been in one color like this in like 20 years or so. Extremely pleased with how it turned out. Finally take off the temporary flat deck and put the real bed back on. I thought these were solid doors, more like solid crap. I need to reunite this shock absorber with its brother before I put the bed back on. I could do this after, but it's going to be a lot easier to do now. So, stud broke off last year. I didn't weld these on, but I'm going to weld them on this time. Just for fun, the shock absorber on the right is off my Tacoma, and the shock absorber on the left is off my 82. They're not that different. Wait a minute, hang on. Oh, I guess they are a little bit different. I'd like to change how these shocks are mounted, make them a little bit more vertical, but I don't have the time, so I'm going to weld this back on, and I'm going to touch up the weld on the other one to make sure that one's not going to break. Why did I take both shock absorbers off? If you weld near a shock absorber, you can ruin it. If you get weld spatter on here, the next time it compresses, it'll shred your seals and it will be junk. Cleaned up the spot where the other bolt goes, and I ground a groove all the way around the base of this so I can re-weld it. So, all that's left to do is re-weld it. Don't think that's going anywhere. little crooked. Let's see if I can bend it. No breaking the tack weld. No. Might roll long enough for me to... There we go. That looks good. Whoops, melted a hole. At least you know it's hot now. There you go, hole fixed. Gotta let that cool, and then I can put the shocks back on. Paint's dry, I can put the shock absorbers back in. There's a catch. If you've ever installed aftermarket shock absorbers, especially good quality ones, you'll know they're extremely hard to compress. There's a trick for this. If you wrap a ratchet strap around your shock absorber and set it to the right length, it makes installation extremely easy. Well, this thing is ready to have the box reinstalled. Shocking. The outside of the bed is looking pretty good, but the inside isn't. There's a few things I'd like to do in the back here. Let me show you. While the outside of the truck has these really cool hooks, there's nothing on the inside to tie things down with. So I took out a couple of these screws here to attach some anchors here. I picked up 4 of these, so I'm going to put them in all 4 corners. There's a cross member underneath here that bolts to the frame, so this would be an extremely strong place to put this anchor compared to back here. I also want to make a cover for the tailgate, so I have a flat surface here to either work on, stand on, sit on, and mostly to protect all the hard work I put into the tailgate skin. I also don't much care for this color orange. I debated about what I wanted to do. I considered painting the inside of the bed yellow to match the outside, but I wanted something a little bit more durable. I decided to use Raptor liner for this. There's a couple reasons. One was it's got a pretty good reputation. I could find some information about it, who used it, how it stood up, that kind of thing. I picked up a chunk of 18 gauge for this panel. It's pretty decent like this. I could probably just leave it this way, either welded on or riveted on, but it's a little bit, I don't know, it's not spongy, but it has a little bit of give in the center of these panels. So I want to put a couple beads in here. I'd love to put, a bunch of these, but my bead roller is big enough to handle this whole thing. It can only reach out to about here. So I figured, why don't I put in 2 beads, equal spacing, so I think there's about 17.5 inches between here. I think that would look okay. So I'm going to get my bead roller set up, and let's roll some beads. So this is my bead roller. It's still set up from when I made those strips for the floor. So I'm going to take this apart, and we'll put some different dies on it. These are all the dies that came with my bead roller. There's a decent selection here. It'd be nice to have a nice tipping die, but whatever. So these are the 2 that I was using, and you can set this distance as well as this distance to make pretty much any bevel you would like. But I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use some of these. So I'm probably going to use this one because it'll be the simplest. This should get me a nice bead on this panel. So I'm going to pop these on and adjust the bead roller. So I'm going to put this one on the bottom and this one on the top. Oh, that's probably a little bit too far. So we probably want it like that. Flush both sides of the die. That should work really nice. Just gotta snug those up and do up a test piece. So this top bolt needs to be slightly loose to allow movement here. This bolt adjusts the depth. You want to keep track of this. If you loosen this, count how many turns you loosen it so you can tighten it by the same amount of turns. I dug around my scrap bin and I found a piece. I'm going to put a bead in it, I guess. It's not bad. It's not exactly what I expected. I'll try tightening this one turn and trying it again. That's cool. That's pretty good. I think I might just go with that, actually. I can't run my bead all the way through because I want to mount it down onto something. So I need to start and stop some distance away from the edge. So I'm going to try to figure that out now. So the top and bottom of the tailgate have some thickness. The top of the tailgate, we'll call it 2 inches just to be safe. So I think I'll stay 2.5 inches away from the edge. So I'm going to mark a line this way. Over there. And over there. So when I roll that bead, I'm going to roll along this line and stop on that part of the line, just like that. So I made this board for my piece to have something to sit on while I put it through the bead roller. Well, let's give it a try, I guess. I don't know. It's only money, right? If I screw it up. So I'm going to be looking at it from this direction. And I'm going to want to keep this rolling along this line. And I'm going to watch till I get the center of this to line up with that little mark. It's kind of hard to see. So I'm going to keep rolling it to there, and then I'm going to stop. If I go a little bit short or a little bit past, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. But if I go like, that's going to look bad. So, wish me luck, I guess. Okay, we're lined up. I think we're reasonably square as well. I think we're ready to roll this. So it was 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Let's go very slowly. This isn't a race. Going until in the middle. Perfect. Now we'll loosen this up and we'll have a look. Not bad for an amateur. So that worked really well. This is really stiff compared to this here. In fact, I think I might do another one here, so I'll have 4 in total. It'd be nice to put one right in the center, but I think that'll look okay to do 2 here and then 2 there. So I'm going to measure that out and roll some more beads. Well, that, I think, was a complete success. This panel has a little bit of a bow in it, but that's fine, because once I screw this down or whatever, it's not going nowheres. This is really nice now, and I like the pattern. I think it looks really good. I don't know why I was so worried about it looking funny, but, you know, these aren't perfectly straight, but I think they're good enough. And I am planning to spray bed liner over top, so yeah. I'm gonna get this prepped for primer because, as you can see, there's already got a little bit of surface rust on it. And then we'll prep this for bed liner. I need to drill my panel to match these holes. These 3, I was able to mark from the back side really easy. But these three I don't have access to. So what I did was I took a piece of masking tape, I put a little dot on it, and I stuck it sticky side up, lined up to the hole. So now, my idea is if I take my panel and I line it up to these three holes, and carefully drop it down, these pieces of tape will mark exactly where those holes need to go. At least that's the way it works in my head. I put some pieces of cardboard here to stop it from sticking before I have it lined up. So, round 2 was successful. I'm going to go center punch these and drill them out. Alright, let's rivet this on. Oh, it looks like they all line up. That's a relief. Alright. Just make sure I didn't leave anything in here, because it'll be in here forever. That looks good. That side looks good. Okay, let's rivet this on. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the most comfortable this tailgate has ever been. Before I get too carried away, I've got to figure out where I want to put these. I think I want to put it this way. Now that I've got this tacked down roughly where I want it, I'm going to try scribing the position of the other hole. Yep, I think that worked. There. That'll do. I'm going to get to sanding, because that's going to take a while. With the paintwork finally finished, that concludes phase 1 of the Nicening. I'll show you a few of the things I'm going to do next. Most of the exterior is looking pretty good, but there's a few parts that need some touch-ups. These rock sliders are going to need a fresh coat of paint, and potentially something to keep me from slipping on these, because these are like ice when they're wet. Both the front and rear bumper are both looking pretty shabby compared to the rest of the truck. These are going to need some freshening up. I don't really want to replace these, but I've got some ideas on how to improve them. I'd like to extend this out kind of at an angle here to give me a little bit of protection, because right now you can sneak a tree in here, which I've done before. So I don't really want to do that on my nice freshly painted stuff. The rear bumper is looking worse than the front bumper. It's kind of twisted up and stuff. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to try to fix this or not, but I do want some rear quarter protection. So whether I make a new bumper or fix this one, I'm going to add a bar that runs across here so I don't slam this into a tree, because I've also done that before. And then of course, phase 2 of the Nicening will include the interior, but I'm a long way away from doing that. If you like what I've been doing, subscribe, won't you? Well, that's going to do it for me and this video. Thanks for watching.